Ever since the cold card firmware flaw hit the space, cold storage devices are now getting targeted. The cold card firmware flaw is now up to almost 2,000 plus Bitcoin getting wiped from over 7,000 plus wallets, which is just insane. But on top of that, many other cold storage opportunities out there in the space, like for example, Trezor, are also getting targeted with paid ads to impersonate legit sites through phishing sites. This is insane. This is why this is probably one of the best times to be locking in on institutional grade secured platforms like iTrustCapital. Obviously, listen, I get it. You guys, have your own cold storage devices, things like that. Everyone is indifferent on what they want to do with their crypto, but I'm just saying right now, iTrustCapital offers one of the best solutions to store your crypto. So if you guys do want to go check them out, there's going to be a link down in the description below, as well as in the comments below. And guys, they do have a white glove solution that allows you to tap in with a team member from iTrustCapital to walk you through the entire process, answer any questions that you guys have, and so forth. So if you guys want to go check them out, link down in the description as well as in the comments below. And with that being said, let's jump on into the video. The Clarity Act is obviously one of the biggest things that we have been talking about for a while on the channel and even just around the crypto space. And I still think that it is one of the biggest things to happen in crypto if we can get it done. However, I feel like at this point, and you guys, if you've been watching the channel for a bit of time, that my confidence has been just dropping around this passing in 2026. And it really is coming back to the politicians. The politicians have just been dragging their feet and bringing up all of this nonsense to just delay it. And it feels like it's a strategic delay. And I've talked about this just in a recent video, actually, talking about how they're sabotaging this strategically. And regardless of if we get clarity or not, just know that the SEC and the CFTC are so open and so ready to step in. I mean, at this point, they're preparing. And I want to talk about this. So let's actually dive on in and let's start off with, of course, the Clarity Act, because we just got another update, guys. This is probably the 10th time that I've seen a post similar to this in the last week. The White House vows to pass the Crypto Clarity Act in September. Oh, well, if they're vowing to pass it in September, that means we're guaranteed it to pass in September, right? They guaranteed us that, oh, hey guys, guess what? We're ready to pass this in July. We're ready to pass this in May. Patrick Witt says that the Trump administration remains fully committed to passing the crypto bill, adding that the US can't afford to wait forever. The bill now faces a 60 vote test on September 15th. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if we don't get this done in September, we're not getting it done. We're just not getting it done in 2026. I can't see a way forward if we don't get this done in September. Now, the full breakdown from Patrick Witt himself was this. The administration remains fully committed to getting the Clarity Act across the finish line in September. Durable rules, the kind only legislation can provide, are needed now more than ever. But we also can't afford to wait forever. Every time Democrats have delayed this bill, of course, it's always the back and forth political games. Both sides, by the way, even Republicans started to vote no as well. America has fallen further behind in the digital asset race, jeopardizing our leadership role in global financial markets, weakening our national security, and denying law enforcement the tools they need to stop crypto crime. Clarity represents years of genuine bipartisan work, and Democrats still have a real opportunity to shape digital asset policy in America by helping pass it into law. Our door remains open, and we'll keep negotiating in good faith all the way up until the September vote. Listen, guys, I'm just going to be real with you. I want clarity to be done. I want this to pass. I'm right there with all of guys, you see that chart behind me? That's XRP. XRP is still actively dropping. I want clarity to pass. Not for the sake of the price chart, but for the sake of the fact that we will witness a big shift in the market. We will probably immediately see institutional players lining up. We'll probably immediately start to see the technology being integrated, utilized properly. But I fear without a way forward, without guardrails in place, we're probably not going to see that happen. Now, is that crypto's dead, XRP's dead, things are done, they're not going, nothing's going to happen? No. It just means that going forward, we're probably not going to see the utility bull run that we've all been hoping for, wishing for, but we'll still probably see a nice, push in the market, regardless of what happens here. But we still are heavily focused on, Clarity getting done. And, beyond Clarity, we still have a lot of great updates coming out from the SEC and the CFTC. Like, for an example, if we go over here, the CFTC will proceed with digital asset rulemakings, even if the Clarity Act does not pass. Chairman Selig said, and if we look here, yes, the CFTC chairman says digital asset rulemakings will proceed with or without legislation. On August 4th, he addressed the Flyover FinTech Conference in Lincoln, Nebraska, hosted by Mike Flood. He said that the agency has developed a set of digital asset rule proposals in parallel with the Clarity Act negotiations and is prepared to issue them if the legislation is enacted. We also have that he said that the CFTC will proceed with those rulemakings even if the Clarity Act does not pass, and that his objective is to have the agency's digital assets rules finalized and implemented before the end of the current administration. He also said that he and the SEC Chairman Paul Atkins are prepared to develop joint rules addressing the boundary between the two agencies' jurisdictions, consistent with the harmonization work under Project Crypto. And Project Crypto just made a video talking about it. Back in the summer of 2025, they, announced it, right at the same time, by the way, as the Clarity Act. You can't make it up. If we really think about the timeline, I said it's so interesting to focus on the timeline between Project Crypto, Clarity getting announced, the downfall of Clarity, and then we also have the joint, Project Crypto go live, which is the joint, push with the CFTC and also the SEC. That went live in February of this year, right at the same time that Clarity was already failing. So if we think about this, it feels like this was strategic in a way. It feels like this was planned in a way. But we also have over here that CFTC chair said that the agency is prepared to advance crypto market structure regulation even if Congress fails to pass the Clarity Act. The Senate vote setback hasn't slowed the SEC and the CFTC push. Atkins and Selig are moving forward on their own regulatory track. And if we look over here, we do have the SEC meeting this Friday. I do think that this is probably going to be a pretty important meeting. Again, the SEC has been very pro-crypto for a bit of time now. Very different overall view from the prior SEC, which is something that I feel like we should celebrate. If we think about this admin, one thing that this admin has done very well is creating this sort of army around crypto where regardless of what these anti-crypto individuals want to do in terms of the Senate, cough, cough, Elizabeth Warren. Regardless of what they want to do, support or not support crypto, we have a complete full army behind crypto that's pro-crypto, right? We look at Paul Atkins, he's pro-crypto. We look at Mike Selig, he's pro-crypto. Even Scott Bessent is pro-crypto. All of these players have been pro-crypto for a bit of time. And even the SEC has been very open to crypto. Even when Gary Gensler was the chairman, a lot of the other players at the SEC, like Hester Pierce, for an example, were pro-crypto. They just couldn't do anything because Gary Gensler was the chairman and he was pretty much calling the shots. But I do think that, going forward, this Friday meeting is going to be very important to listen into. We did get an update that they just posted its notice for the open meeting Friday to propose regulations in terms of crypto or new rules to create a tailored offering regime for certain investment contracts involving crypto assets. No more waiting there for Congress to pass the Clarity Act. It's time for the agencies to act. And this is from the president of Securitize. Now, talking about Securitize, we just got an update from Carlos Domingo. And it's regarding the remainder of this week. So he said that it's going to be an interesting and exciting week. This could actually be even more relevant than Clarity passing. Looking forward to learning the details soon. This statement, okay, the idea that this could actually be more relevant than Clarity passing. There's a reason behind this. The reason is the floodgates opening for the SEC and the CFTC to pretty much take over. If we're looking at this logically, the SEC and the CFTC do not need the green light. They do not need someone to hold their hands. They have the power now to step in, provide regulations for crypto, provide a guardrail around crypto, which is why this could be much bigger than Clarity. This would be the best way forward for crypto. And I was talking to a friend in crypto about this actually, and he said, yeah, it's good, but it's temporary. Like the next agent or the next admin can come in and pretty much force these agencies to just kind of go back on this. And although, yeah, that might be true, the main thing that we're looking at here is it's giving us a temporary guardrail. It's giving us a temporary clearance, if you will, for crypto before we get clarity. And who knows if we get clarity in 2026? We don't know. So this would definitely be like the best move forward. And looking at the details here, we have interesting, the SEC poised to roll out a pair of major initiatives, in the coming days that could further turbocharge the U.S. crypto industry as a landmark digital asset bill stalls in Congress. And if we're looking at this, the SEC is poised to roll out a pair of major initiatives in the coming days that could further turbocharge the U.S. crypto industry as a landmark digital asset bill stalls in Congress. The regulator announced that it will be holding a meeting this Friday to create a tailored offering regime for certain investment contracts involving crypto assets. The agency is also planning to soon unveil its so-called innovation exemption for trading digital versions of securities, a move that could reshape the landscape of the American stock market and pave the way for 24/7 trading of stock tokens on the blockchain. That's a massive one because we know that the NYSE and also the NASDAQ have been looking into that in a big way. Those details of the exemption for tokenized stocks could be released as soon as Friday, according to people familiar with the agency's plans. The SEC officials are still working on the proposal and details could change before it is released, said the people. So yeah, I mean, this could definitely be big. It aligns perfectly with the NYSE's recent announcements. I think that tokenized stocks are going to be a game changer for the space. I talked about, what it could mean for access to stocks outside of the US, what it could do to the stock market itself. I mean, if you think about it, like everyone's trying to call a top for stocks, and I get it. It's very easy to look at the charts and say like, there's no way this is going up even more. But if you open the floodgates to so many more users, so much more money, there's definitely a possibility of that really kind of turbocharging stocks even more and pushing them significantly higher, 50% higher, 100% higher. We don't know, but like, again, like we think about tokenized stocks right now, they're still pretty early. Maybe they won't be like a safeguard for like a possible, like, hey, let's safeguard the top. But, initially I do think that it's going to be pretty big for, the stock market. But right now, the main focus is the SEC. And I do agree with this post from Nate Gerolchi because this is pretty much what I just stated prior, right? Like politics aside, it's ironic that Congress failing to pass the Clarity Act will result in President Trump's SEC doing pretty much whatever they want within existing laws to fast track crypto industry. Sure, some of that work can be undone by another administration, but crypto moves at warp speed. Might be too late at that point. And that's also another good fact. Like, again, if we think about this logically, okay, the next admin could definitely come back and just say, all right, you know what? Screw these laws. Like, we want to go back on this, screw crypto. We don't believe in it. We think it's a scam. We think it's this, whatever. They could do that. They 100% could do that. However, if the crypto market's at a $10 trillion market cap, tokenized stocks, tokenized assets in general are soaring. You have the biggest banks here. You have the largest asset management companies here. How are you going to go back on that? And also, if the benefits for US markets and for the US itself are so significant to the point where like it's so hard to ignore, you can't go back on that. You just simply cannot go back on that. But also, I think that by the time that we get the next admin, we should have clarity. There's no reason why we should not have clarity at that point. Maybe that's just me being hopeful, but like, there is no way we should not have clarity by that point. But ultimately, the main focus here is what the SEC and the CFTC are going to be doing. The meeting this Friday is definitely very important. I believe on August 20th, there's going to be another meeting from the CFTC regarding this. I'm definitely looking forward to this. I think both the CFTC and the SEC have been doing an incredible job so far. It's not hard to do a better job than Gary Gensler, but I will say that the SEC has been doing a very good job, well beyond what Gary Gensler and the prior SEC did. So I'm definitely hopeful that we can get something going here. I think that the SEC and the CFTC are actually very, very adamant about getting this pushed through. They understand the urgency here as well. So, I'm not too concerned at all with clarity. And I do think that this, very similar to what Carlos Domingo is saying here, I do think that this is actually more relevant than clarity passing. I think that this is going to be a game changer for the crypto space. I think that it's going to initially unlock it. It's kind of like a light unlock. It's like clarity almost. So this is definitely very exciting. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely like, subscribe, turn notifications on because there's more free content. You guys are more than follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.